what are you all about? What's this thing you're doing?
Uh, Now, and I look directly at the camera. Is that
You can look at the camera, you can look at me, or you can just look at it out in the space. Whatever you feel comfortable with. It doesn't really matter.
okay?
You know.
So they call me the Wheelie King. My nickname is Elvis, and I was managing the deer lodge up in Ojai, California, for quite some time. And I just put on this wheelie show, and everyone just started calling me Elvis all of a sudden. And it's just one of the things that I like to do on my bike. It's an expression. It's just who I am, and that's what I'm known for. And so when I ride, I just ride crazy. And I do wheelies at Neptune's Net, the Deer Lodge, the Rock Store, probably every hot spot that most bikers go to in Southern California. And that's what I'm known for. I'm known for my wheelie show, and I love it. I mean, I did one time hurt myself and fall, but get right back up and do it again. It's about the man and the bike, and you got to know when it's too much and when it's not enough. And I kind of found that balance one time, and I'm going to continue to do it until the wheels fall off, I guess.
So how did you start? How did you practice and the beginning?
It's a funny story how I started doing the wheelies. I used to ride dirt bikes. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I never did a wheelie before. I got my Harley, and I bought it straight from the factory. It was I had to order it from Harley Davidson, so I ordered a 1200 Custom Sportster. It had drag handlebars on it. It had, it's normal stock custom Harley, and I was taking it out of the truck, and I gave it a little too much gas, and I kind of got a little out of control, and that rush, that sensation of almost falling but being able to control it was probably my first wheelie, and then I just started perfecting it over time and just got better and better and better. And people are like, can you do a wheelie on a Harley? It doesn't make sense. But when they see it, they understand. It's pretty cool.
Do you do wheelies on other bikes too? I mean, can you compare to other bikes at all? Or?
I have done wheelies on other bikes before. I've done wheelies on my buddy's Honda CBR 650 and stuff. But to me, it's really not the same because there's a difference between feeling my bike and the throttle and the clutch and everything, and the actual, it's like the magistry about it. It's kind of like you really have to know what you're doing on the Harley in order to pull this wheelie and do what I do. On any other bike, I just pull the throttle back and the wheel comes off the ground and I go for a mile or so and it's not a big deal. But with my bike, there's the balance that you have to deal with, and it's getting the bike up off the ground in the first place. So I've done it with other bikes before, but doing it with my actual bike is way different than anything else.
It's almost like, a cool modern circus act. It's like a kind of acrobat to the whole thing. I mean, is that something you've reflected over, being a kind of street acrobat at all, or?
I've never looked at it as far as like maybe street acrobatics, but it definitely does take some skill. And I'm not just the wheelie king. Like, I'll do other things on my bike. Like one thing I like to call the coffin, where I'll lay back on the bike in cruise control mode, and there's nothing steering the front wheel on the bike at all except for the road, and I just lay back on my seat and just kick back on the bike. And yes, it's called the coffin because if you fall, you're in big trouble. I also like surf on the bike as well. I'll stand on the seat and do, just go down at about 80 miles an hour on the seat holding the handlebars, and that's kind of dangerous. And one that I've perfected was the cross, where Indian Larry, unfortunately, it was his stunt. And he would stand on the seat with no hands and put his arms out straight. And that one is the hardest trick to perfect. And that does take balance. So I can kind of see where acrobatics or something like that could come into play as far as the bike's concerned. There's a lot of balancing involved.
And just training. I mean, basically, it's a skill you have to practice, right?
Yes, everything you do in life, you have to perfect if you want to get good at it. So I would practice my wheelies, or I'd practice my other tricks, in different places, parking lots and things. And I think I've now been riding my Harley for about 8 years or so. And I can now say that I am definitely an expert. But it's taken me at least up to 8 years to become an expert in what I do. So there was a lot of times where I'm in the parking lot and I'll do the wheelie and I'm too close to a wall or something and I'll hit the brake and slide and, have to ditch the bike and stuff. It's got some bruises and so do I, from doing it. So it does take time and practice, and just like anything else in life.
Talk about the adrenaline, the rush, and the whole thrill.
There's a difference between cruising on your motorcycle and, being close to the road and leaning and all those things. But then there's another thing where it comes the rush that you get from doing these extraordinary things on your bike. First of all, people love it. So you get the crowd into it and everyone gets, crazy. That's always cool. But when I do a wheelie, or before I do it, I always basically get this rush, this sensation, kind of like, I guess you would say, like a fighter jet, fighter pilot gets when he's in his jet and he's maybe going Mach 2 or whatnot. You get this sensation that is unlike anything else. It's kind of like where somebody would pull the throttle back and go as fast as they possibly can. And I think what it is, it's that extra step close to danger that really makes it exciting. It makes it something that you just continue to do. And that's when people get hurt as well, because they want to feel that so close to disaster, like Evel Knievel. He always pushed the limits, and he paid for it as well. But that's what I get. I get this rage, this feeling of adrenaline when I'm about to pull the wheelie, and then when I'm in the wheelie, I'm just have this crazy rush. It's unlike anything else, unlike just riding normal, and that's why I continue to